All right. All right, so obviously a tough loss for our football team. You know, a lot happens in a season, and a lot has happened in this season. At no time will I give this team an out. We're expected to win football games, and that's what I'm here to help them do. And that's what our intention is at all times. Our offense has to play better, period. I know our defense struggled tonight as well, but our offense has to play better. Now, in defense of our offense, okay, so we're running somebody else's offense right now. So I just brought in a coordinator this week, so 72 hours ago, and so we made the adjustment with him. We felt it was better just to get him in there and let him call the game. And I love the fact that I did that because it sets us up for the rest of the season. But we'll spend this week revamping our offense and putting ourselves in position to win football games the way that Noel Mazzone is going to call the offense. So I feel good about that. I love the character of our football team here. I think that these guys play as hard as you can possibly play. One of our defensive linemen couldn't make the trip, and that put a lot of stress on the rest of those players inside. It makes it difficult for them when you don't have that extra body, especially when he's that talented. So there's all kinds of different factors, but there's no excuses. So we've got to right it, and our intention obviously is to do that. So that's a pretty good look at it. If you're asking questions about at the end of the game, same thing I just said to the team. We're down by 18 points. Our defense has been working, but it's been a long drive. It's been a long night. So you could say, well, should I be going for 2 minutes and going for the win or trying to come back in the game? It's a two-score game if we get both touchdowns and then the three-point conversions, which is a long shot. So I told the team, I said, listen, I'm never going to concede victory, but I am thinking about the season, and I'm looking at how beat up we are, a defensive front right there. I'm like, I'm not going to do that to them. I'm not going to have us go 3 and out. We don't have any rhythm throwing the football right now. I'm not going to have us go 3 and out and put our defense back on the field. I'm not doing that right now. And possibly put somebody in position of being for another injury and so on. So that's why I did that, and I stand by that. All right, that's about it.
Questions right here?
Yeah.
You got a microphone?
Mike Mueller, BCP Plus. Chris Pierce had a pretty good day for you today. He had a couple big catches over the middle, and I believe they're his first catches of the year. I'm just wondering, do you plan on utilizing him more moving forward as a big body and kind of like a little safety net for your team?
100%. Good football player, a student of the game, smart, tough. He does everything you ask him, doesn't say boo. So 100, yes, we're going to use him. No question. And considering where we're at, right, like I keep talking about this being like a preseason type thing. I mean, if you're Noel and us with Noel, it's very preseason-ish, right, because we just don't know what we have. We haven't thrown a ball to the tight ends all year long. So that's it. All I heard was assassination.
There's a news station on here that we're hearing there. Sorry. Go ahead, guys. Okay. We'll figure this out.
Coach, up front, I know you talked about, P.J. Hall wasn't active today, and you also lost John Atkins up front. Yep. We saw kind of the effect of that. The ground game from Michigan was really efficient today. They averaged 5 yards a carry, rushed for 169 yards. Kind of how do you bounce back from a game like that, and what was your just observation of the defense, especially in the run game?
Yeah, I think you just nailed it, right? I mean, you lose two good football players like that. You're talking about two guys that are, really good players, right? John's been in the NFL, P.J.'s been in the NFL. And they're both that type of caliber player. When all of a sudden, when they're missing, it's different. It's different. I mean, I've been in situations before where we lose a starting quarterback and we've been rambling down the field every game, and all of a sudden he's not there. You go with the backup, and you can't move the ball. Everybody's like, what's going on? I said, I'll tell you what's going on. You don't have that player anymore. That's what's going on. And now for our defensive line, our other defensive linemen, we've got some excellent players in there. Boogie, all these guys are really good football players. But now you're not getting the rest that you normally would get. There's a lot more stress on you. And so these are obviously things that we have to address right now. So to make sure that we have the right amount of guys that can help us win football games. I think that's it, though. If you look at it, it's exactly the way you worded it.
Any other questions for Coach? I can grab a couple players. Over there, one there, one there. Go ahead and take those guys. I'm going to go grab those 2 players.
I've been impressed by watching Kai Loxley's play in the CFL, and I'm curious if you have any plans to incorporate him more into the offense.
I just said, like, in the locker room with the team, I just said, hey, if you're a receiver here, I understand it's frustrating right now because we have to find a rhythm to get them the football. So they have to gel with Coach Mazzone. And so for guys like him and the other receivers, Jay Adams, all of these guys, I mean, our receiver core is probably about as good as you're going to get. I think it's an excellent receiver core. And so we've got to find ways to distribute the football to these guys. So I agree with you. I think that he's a heck of a football player, and we've got to find ways to get him the ball. So that's what we're going to revamp this offense right now and put the terminology in that is going to benefit our team from this point forward.
Watching the offense with Memphis for a while, it seems like it's been a bit slow for the offensive system to really gel with the players in the personnel group. What is the first thing that you think needs to be fixed?
So I think it is the way that I just worded it throughout this whole press conference is I just think that we need to gel with Coach Mazzone. So there's so much terminology to this offense, and we're going to get rid of all of it. We're going to dump it, and we're going to go with the terminology. It's easy for Coach Mazzone. So Coach Mazzone, when he calls the game, it can roll off his tongue. The players will adjust. The numbers, a lot of the numbers will stay the same. And then we're going to, you know, obviously, like you're all obviously very aware of, right? We have a great receiver core, and we got to put these guys in position to get them the football, right? So to me, it's about touches, right? So when you have all these guys, it's about touches. So you like to get Loxley as touches, you like to get Jay Adams as touches, and so on. So that is the thought process, and we've got to work at it and figure it out.
And to kind of bounce off of that, obviously, it's tough to get a passing game going if the ground game isn't effective. And between your running backs, 14 carries, 34 yards. Yep. You're an offensive line guy.
Yep.
What's been your assessment of the run blocking through the first few weeks of the season, especially today?
Yeah, like early in the game, we were trying to run the ball inside. And so we tried to run the ball inside. We couldn't run the ball well at all inside. When we go under center, we don't have a play-action pass under center. So there's then nothing here with this offense that's play action when you're under center. So if we're under center, you pretty much know we have one play action out of it. You know that we're going to run the football. So that's what we tried to implement, a lot more gun runs when we went into the second half. We come out the second half, we ran the ball pretty well the whole second half. So again, as we went into the second half, we just said, to hell, we've got to go with the Noel Mazzone angle of things and do more gun runs. And so we went with the gun runs, which obviously gave the defense, you know, the possibility that we were either going to throw or we were going to run the football. And it changed the whole layout of the game in terms of us. You know, like, we're still in that football game. If we get the 4th and 1, it's a different ball game, right? So they were up by 9 at that point. If we get the 4th and 1 there in the fourth quarter, we get down and score, it's a different ball game, right? So we don't get it. So when you don't get it in a football game like that, you're not going to win it.
Anything else in here? We can get a couple players in here. Good.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
All
right. All right, man.
All right, on your right, defensive back, Eli Walker. On your left, wide receiver, Kwame Lassiter. We'll open it up for questions for these players. Here in front.
Mike Mueller, BCP Plus. Outside of that one long pass to Mariner, you guys did a pretty good job of limiting explosive plays. I was just wondering what you saw from the offense that kind of gave you a sort of a insight as to how they were going to do and how you would be able to stop them from having those long explosive plays.
Just in practice, everything that we saw on film, they did. You know, it's not really rocket science. Although we did play well on defense, we got to force more turnovers. You know, that's the little thing that, you know, getting to lose and winning the game and giving the offense the ball back. So, yeah, we played well, but, you know, we got to force the turnovers more.
Questions for these guys back there?
Yeah, Eli, just kind of just talking to Coach Turner about how you had an issue stopping the run game. A couple guys went down up front. How does that impact you, especially in the secondary where you're having a hard time slowing down the run, and then the passing game opens up for Michigan?
It's 11 men on the field at once. It not only affects me, but it affects the whole team. We did lose a key player in our defense, defensive line. So, and that was a huge impact and a sudden change of ours. But we had guys who stepped up. Moving forward, we will fix the issue. So.
Hey, Kwame, how you doing? Just talk about the rotation of the quarterback. In week one, when Coach Turner was there, he made a great point about, I got to learn who these guys are. We've had a short preseason, need to get them in the games and see who they are. Here we are now getting ready to go into week 5. Just, for you, have you talked to your guys and maybe going to coach and saying, hey, we got to lock into a QB at some point this year and kind of start moving forward with one guy?
Yeah, I feel like today they were trying to see who would catch a rhythm, and then EJ caught the rhythm, so that's who they went with. But at the end of the day, you do have to find out who's your guy at quarterback because, quarterback, like I just said, you got to catch that rhythm, and you have a great drive, and then you got to come out. That hurts. So, the wideouts are talking about sticking to one guy, but that's above me.
Anything else for these guys? Good? All right, gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you.